I want to give the message that the press and the hyper left and the hyper right want to see. This is apparently what they want the president or some spokesperson to come out and say. So I'm here to address you, the American people, in a way that apparently everyone is insisting on. First of all, the Afghanistan withdrawal is moving forward. It was a complete catastrophe, but it is no longer a catastrophe. I apologize to what that is doing for your daytime ratings. To all the people on the right, we find it incredible. We're so glad you've been concerned about the translators and their families and the Afghans that helped us. We're just a little confused as to why all of a sudden you don't want them coming to America. Get them out, but don't bring them here seems a bit strange. If they're worth saving, they're worth, I don't know. We're trying to figure out what the fuck you guys are talking about. I think mainly if we, I think we can all agree that the people who helped us in Afghanistan and their families should eventually be brought here. And no? Okay, well, that's what's going to happen. You'll just have to deal with it. About 30,000 of them long term. We're also helping to get many of the people who helped the Australians to Australia, many of the people who helped the French to France, and many of the people who helped the UK to the UK, even though they're shitting on us in their press. We're still doing our jobs, getting everyone out of the country. Also, apparently there is some sort of story floating around that Donald Trump had a plan for evacuation and we ignored it. That is not precisely the case. We did see it. It was part of an evac plan that was approved by the military leaders back in February when things were really different. You see, unlike the last administration, we react to reality, not press releases. Also, for all the people who think that Trump would have done this better, he had a great plan, and if we only had 2 more weeks, he would release it with his taxes and his healthcare plan. To those folks, we would like to say he had every chance last year to do this, and the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that, because we've been talking to the generals and apparently nothing has actually changed. They've been blowing smoke up our ass for the better part of a decade, and anybody who even glanced at this sideways knew that. And so when we got into office, and the president will speak to this in just a few moments, we took a look at the genuine intel on this and went, what the fuck are we doing here? Any problem that we have, we can obviously drone from the air, and there's no reason for us to be holding a sovereign country. We're not in Yemen, we're not in Congo, we're not in all these other places, and yet we can work with UN forces and stuff. It's amazing. So we appreciate that, those questions coming from everybody. And there was one other thing. Oh, yeah. New polling has come out, of course, that the American people are viewing the administration's handling of the COVID pandemic currently, because of the Delta variant, at a slightly lower level than they had earlier in the year when the president was successful in getting over 51% having their first dose and 70% now having had their second dose. And apparently, according to polling and the Washington Post, MSNBC, NBC, New York Times, Ben Shapiro, and Democracy Now! And it's amazing how many people have this in common. Glenn Beck, Fox News, Fox Business, The Simpsons. I guess everyone apparently is now blaming Biden for the fact that Trump fans who believe January 6th was a false flag and believe the pandemic is a plandemic and are sucking back horse paste, it is somehow the Biden administration's fault that they are not trusting the vaccine. So we have a plan. Apparently, it isn't so much that people feel it's a varying degree across the spectrum of what we should do to deal with this. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot we can do. We're not going to get in a helicopter and shoot them with darts full of vaccine like some sort of Sarah Palin fantasy. And we're certainly not going to just leave them to die and deny them medical services, as the hyper left and the Ayn Randians seem to be joining together on. So I'm sorry for that. We are just going to have to watch as that. Yes, I'm sorry. That's a good point. May I? Let's see. Let's see. It might be, if you'll excuse me for 1 second. The press must be made aware that. Let's see if we get.
What?
Yes. So thank you. This is not an official statement from the White House. This is simply my response to a lot of the criticisms that I've seen over the last 7 days. The American military has gotten over 56,000 people out, 70,000 in total. No Americans will be left behind unless they want to be left behind, because if anybody can understand the freedom to die while making money in a foreign country against the will of the people who live there, it should be Republicans. So we can't forcibly extract any Americans who insist on staying. And technically, at this point, any Americans who insist on staying are either allied with the Taliban or involved in the poppy trade. So fuck them. And then, of course, all the Afghans that have helped us. Can we get all of them out through the Kabul airport? And the answer is, of course, no. Many of them already left through the borders of the country or have moved north to another extraction point. And we tell you more about it, but apparently you would like me to bring out a map and point to you. This is right over here. This is where all the people who helped us translate are. Here's all the people who guided us. They're in this apartment building. And this road is how we're going to take them to the airport. So if you're Taliban and you have a television set, or you're ISIS and want to screw up the whole process, and your goal is to keep America in Afghanistan forever and bleed us dry for another decade, this is really the road you want to hit. You want to come right down through here. So obviously, we're not going to tell you everything because we're not fucking stupid. So with that, I won't be taking any questions because all of your questions are the same. And they're moronic. So thank you very much. Thank you. That's does that get the point across? You think? Can I do that every so often? Can I borrow that? I should replace the seal with my little symbol. It's true. I think Nick Cage is going to capture Hal. It's entirely possible. I am a national treasure, after all. So, yes, thank you so much. So feel free we'll cut that into a clip and share it later, I guess. Yeah. But I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. I really, really am. So I will, as a matter of fact, I'm going to, since that worked as well as it did, because I just threw that together in like 2 seconds. That was literally, I just made that right now. I'm going to work on this and make a better version of it. So in case we need this in future, it will be always ready. Because quite frankly, there's been a couple of days this week in particular where I've been like, you're an asshole, and you're an asshole, and you're an asshole. And I almost like Biden's being too nice, and I almost want to like push him out of the way. Like, go have some ice cream, sir. Relax. I understand what you're doing. Go do the actual job. I'll handle these dickheads. So, yes, I could debate Trump, except he doesn't debate. He didn't want to show up for all the debates during the last election. He's certainly not going to start showing up now. And, and by the way, I might have left this out. For everybody who says that Trump had a plan, I'd love to see it. Just bring it up. And then tell me when he was actually going to implement it. Hold up. Never. That's right. Never is the word. So there you go.